The question we've been asked is, now that we've set up Google Drive using the other video, how do we actually start using it? It's pretty simple and straightforward. Now, when you go on to the document, you always want to click on Authorize quickly just to authorize Google. And then when you refresh, it'll actually show you what documents are there. Now, the matter file number is pretty important. So in this one, it's TT866331. So if you actually traverse to my Google Drive, you'll see a directory here called uLaw practice right in your My Drives section. So if you click on that, it'll have a directory called matter. And when you actually click on that, that TT86631 will be a directory or a container, as they like to call it in Google Drive. So if you click on that, document space is pretty much empty. Now, whatever you put here is what is going to show up in uLaw. And I'm going to show you a few examples. Let's say I did a client ID verification for this person. So I did that. Now, obviously, it gets downloaded into my download folder, right? And all I need to do is just drag and drop it into the drive. So I keep it here. I go here and say, drag it and drop it into my Google Drive. Now it gets loaded. Once it's loaded as a PDF here, if I go back to uLaw and refresh, right, I'll see it right here. It's there. It tells me how much is the size, who is the owner, what is the type, when was it created, when was it modified. Now, if I go here and I create a new document, let's see, I click here and say new spreadsheet, okay, and I give it a title, and then I start filling in some variables. I say date, nothing very new here. If I actually go back to uLaw and hit the refresh button, you will now see that document here, Tessie Tester, account details for Tessie Tester. And when you actually double click on it, uLaw will actually open the document. Look at that. Now, even if you made another document in Google Drive, I'm going to make a quick Google Docs here. Let's say, some letter you wrote to her, letter of engagement, right? And you can give that a nice title, letter of engagement. And, you started typing, type stuff here, right? And when you do that, and you actually come to, obviously it's here, letter of engagement, but if you go to uLaw, and if you just refresh, you should see that document. You'll see the letter of engagement, and that'll tell you when it was created on, when was it modified. Now, these are Google Doc documents, so that's why they don't have size, but external documents have size. Now, if you went here and actually put a, chose that and modified the description, you can click here and say, this is a special document to demonstrate integration with uLaw, right? And if you go back to uLaw and you actually refresh it, you'll see the description. So whatever you do now in Google Drive to this document will actually now show up in uLaw. That's it. So what the software does is it creates a container for every matter. So when I go here, look at that, like for every matter that we had, it creates a container. You manage all your documents here. Like for example, let's say you did an invoice for this person. You just reprinted this invoice, right? And the document would actually come in your download folder. Here's your invoice. All you need to do is go to your Google Drive and go to that matter directory and basically drag and drop it. So here's your invoice. So you just pick it, drag and drop it into Google Drive. Now immediately it will tell you that it's uploading. Once it is uploaded, you come back to uLaw and you refresh it, and your invoice is right here. And if you click on it, it'll open it, So it's as simple as you just taking the document and just dragging it in, and we will have it. Now again, I'm going to show that very quickly to you. Let me do another document. Let's say a retainer letter. I just do that. I download it, and when I actually download it, it's going to put me in my, there you go, that's the retainer letter. I'm just going to have that retainer letter in my desktop just for purposes. Now if I go back to my Google Drive, here it is, and I just drag it and put it into my Google Drive, it shows up here as a retainer letter. There you go. I go to uLaw, and I just do a refresh, and here's my retainer letter. So anything that you manage inside that folder that we created for you as part of Google Drive will show up in uLaw.